Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick here, dropping in on you. Hope everybody is closing out their week on a positive note. And that doesn't necessarily mean everything is going the way that you would want it to go. It means that you understand that you're in the process, that you are in a pattern of progression, that you are systematically moving towards your goals, your destiny, whatever those things are. And let me tell you something, if you don't have specific goals, if you don't have things that you have visualized and have written down and have made solid in your mind, solid in your vision, solid in your expectations, then you are submitting yourself to the forces and the throws and the moves of life and how it comes against you, and you don't have any control or say so in where you end up and where you land. And what will happen is other people will take advantage of that. They will use your gift, they will use your skills, they will use your uncertainty, they will use your fear, your worry, your anxiety to move themselves in positions and places that will allow them to get the things they want. The more you know who you are, the more you know where you're going, the more you're committed, the more you can measure your progress, the better the results you're going to get. I'm going to talk to you today about something that I'm doing today and tomorrow, which is I'm offering this powerful bundle package as an incentive to get people into this crushing limiting beliefs um, event that I'm doing tomorrow at noon. But I want to talk to you about it in a way that you can understand why it's important to get there. So I'm going to talk to you about me. I'm going to talk to you about the challenges of being an entrepreneur and what happens. And so the question is, we're going to start and we're going to build this conversation around a question. Is it as easy to start an online business or a uh, physical brick and mortar business as people make it seem to be? Because you got all these gurus out here that tell you that, hey, they can get you here, they can do this, and they can do that, and some of them are very effective at doing so. Let me tell you, there are some people who can get you places. There are some people who can get you where you say you want to go if you're committed. But I can tell you one thing right off the top. If you're not committed to getting there, I don't care how good they are, I don't care what they know, you're not going to get there. It starts with you. One of the first things I tell my clients is, hey, you have to have your head in the game. This is your vision. This is your dream. This is your desire. I'm here to make sure that you take the most advantageous route to achieving it, but you have to put in the work. If you're not committed, you're going to balk. Why? Because this isn't ease. So the simple answer is no, it's not as easy as people make it seem, but it's possible. And that's the thing I ask myself anytime that I'm getting ready to do something. Have I reached a point in my mind where I believe it's possible? And there aren't things I really come up to that I'm trying to do that I don't think is possible. So now I have to be committed enough. And the next question is, are you going to be committed enough to see it through? Is it important enough for you to push through all of the challenges and the difficulties and the frustrations and the setbacks and everything that comes with it? Are you ready to push forward? Absolutely. Then when I commit to it, there's no turning around. There's no giving in. There's no letting go. So I'm going to tell you about why this uh, online launch formula that I am teaching at an unbelievable price. And what I'm doing today is I'm giving you the 7-day launch formula. And I'm going to tell you why it's so important and why I believe in it and why I literally swear by it in just a second. But the 7-day launch formula, literally going to show you how to start an online business in 7 days and be prepared at launch to make your first sale. I'm also going to give you insight and introduce you to my marketing guy who does my funnels and all the other stuff that makes sure people land where they want to, outside of the organic stuff that you see me do every day that I just do from my passion. What I share with you guys is really just sharing with you guys, and I hope that you kind of jump on. But there is literally a method to my madness outside what you see, and I'm going to bring you into that world. But let's talk. So people want to know, why are you the person that I should talk to about anything? Why should I talk to you about success? Why should I talk to you about perseverance? Why should I talk to you about trauma? Why should I talk to you about healing? Why should I talk to you? What gives you insight into that? And number one is experience. Something else is a level of commitment to what I do. I want to just share something with you. These are just some of the books that I've written over the last, what, let's say, since this one is in here, The Miseducation of Black Youth in America, I have to say 6 years, because I think maybe 8 years. I think I wrote it in 2014, 2013, 2014. So this is the oldest of this stack, not the oldest. I can go back 20 years, but this one. I Am the Power of Self-Declaration. I talk to you all the time about your self-talk. It's really important. Merging Souls, a book about the importance of understanding how you connect with people and why things happen and things, certain challenges, a bunch of things. Critical Mass, my number one selling book. How to reach critical mass. What is critical mass? Critical mass is the point in time where you have all of the components necessary to achieve a desired result. In nuclear physics, critical mass is the point in which all the necessary components are present to create a desired or a specific nuclear reaction. So critical mass. I think academic apartheid, which deals with educational issues with kids. Born in Captivity, Psychopathology as a Legacy of Slavery. Undoing the African American mind. All of this, the last three, about healing, about trauma, about all of that. But what you will find if you get any of those books is the amount of material I researched, I studied, I read to reinforce my position on what I present in the book. So in other words, I don't just go out on a whim and say something. I don't just go out on a whim and do something. When I'm talking about doing something, I've literally put my time, energy, and effort in it. Right now, this month, we're preparing to release books number 25 and 26. We're re-releasing book number 1 as 27 because it's completely rewritten. And that's The Invisible Father, Reversing the Curse of a Fatherless Generation, Reloaded. Now, so why am I in a position to teach somebody how to launch an online business? Well, here's the first thing. No, it is not as easy as people make it seem. Running a business is work. Running a business is far more work, intensity, effort, sacrifice than it is getting up and going to a job. No doubt about it. You're responsible. You don't get to call in, especially in the early stages where it's you, where you are everybody. You're wearing all the hats. And even when you start to move up, if you're going to sustain a certain level of success, it's going to require you to be invested. And so it's not easy. It requires work. What it is possible. What it is rewarding. What it is fulfilling. What it is something that you can create that no one else can take away from you. Now, do businesses fail? Absolutely. Do you run into lean times in business? Absolutely. But so does jobs are laying off all the time. Companies are downsizing all the time. Jobs are not safe. So you have the same risk. The difference is something is going to stick with you. And number one is once you teach yourself this system, this process of how you move in a business world, how you launch a business, how you start a business, what's the first thing? One of my companies, Myriad Business Solutions, we specialize in putting together business plans, marketing analysis, and setting forth all the things you need to have the information you need to start. How do you enter the market? Where do you enter the market? How much of a market share do you think you can access immediately? The importance of niching down so that you create specific areas of expertise that are not highly competitive. And all of these different things are things that you haven't have an understanding of it. So, Doc, what makes you an expert in this? Well, over the course of the last 35 years, I've launched and brought to profitability 47 companies. More importantly, after experiencing a catastrophic setback in business and having to literally start over from scratch, I literally came up with an online strategy. I am located in Houston, but I have clients in Australia, the UK, different countries within Africa, the Caribbean, and here in the US and Canada. So, I'm able to service and do what I do, regardless of where you're. If you have an internet connection, we can work together. With that out the way. So what happened is there's this catastrophic situation. Takes a while to develop and come to head, but ultimately it left me flat on my back. Now, here's the beautiful thing that I love about knowledge. Knowledge is not fleeting unless you have some kind of catastrophic head injury or something like that. You can lose material things, but the knowledge by which you gained it, the knowledge by which you move, the ability and the desire to gain more knowledge so that you have even more understanding. And normally, the losses are based off of areas of weakness that you didn't realize you had, and you make choices and decisions, and you do things, or you make just be a part of mine was arrogance, because I had done so much and I was in such a space that, I stopped thinking about the consequences of certain things, and I just start doing them, and it came to head, and here I am, and I'm here. But what happened is I had to come up with a way of getting back, and I decided that I was going to be more foundational in how I developed. So I would probably move slower than I did the first time, because it wasn't just about cash. It was the foundation. It was about the service. It's about what I'm giving to people in return from what I'm expecting from people. It was so much more put into it, but there had to be a vehicle to deliver the service. This is what business is. Let me explain something to you. Here's what business is. When you want to start a business, here's what most people make their mistake. They look at something, they say, man, that'd be a great idea because they like it. And so they go out and they create it. Now they have to go out and find the audience, their target audience, their ideal customer, and try to convince them that they need it. The best way to start a business is to identify a problem, identify a great need. Now, if you want to move in and out of trends, then you identify what's hot on the front end of it being hot. Before it becomes a trend, you can see it's becoming a trend. And I'll give you a prime example. When COVID first started, if you could sew, you can make a pretty decent little piece of change making masks. It was the hot thing. Now, it was a trend, even though we still have COVID. Obviously, that is not going to be an easy moneymaker anymore. Number one is it became saturated. Number two, not everybody's wearing masks anymore. And COVID is not the top topic on social media anymore. But that would have been so I call those type of people trend jumpers. Those are people who sit up and they just find things. They get the hot thing out. They got T-shirts out and they're selling them. That's not my thing. Is identify a problem. Prime example, what I'm presenting to you now is a problem. People want to start businesses and they don't know how. People want to have an online presence and be effective. Anybody can put up a website. Anybody can get a DBA. Anybody can even create an LLC for reasonable amount of money and have an existing company. But is the company moving towards profitability in a reasonably expected amount of time? How close? And I teach all of that. I have a formula. My whole thing is I want to get to profitability as soon as possible. Then I'll scale out. Some people want to try to start big, so they're looking for investors and looking at all that. And there are things that you might want to do, but me, I want to start with as least amount of startup capital as possible and get into an arena, find a space that's sweet, that nobody's doing it the way I do it, and build it from there. So what happens is here's what you need to be effective in launching a business. You need to identify a problem. You need to look at your skill set, your gifting, your access, your resources, all the things you have available to you, and ask yourself, how can I solve that problem? Or look at your skill set, look at your gifting, look at what you have a resource, look what you do well, and say, okay, what problem can I solve with this? Go out and find the problem. Then you need to be able to understand the market that is servicing that problem, and find out how you can uniquely enter the market. What does that mean? You can't go in and compete in a retail setting with Macy's. So find something specific that Macy's may do, but not really focus on. Make that a major thing, set your own thing up, do it that way. And so if people want to get it that way, they come to you. So the first thing is identifying a problem, then determining how you're going to solve the problem, then making sure you have a setup and a system that you can service that problem at a high level, a high quality level. You want to deliver the best possible service. Why? Because customer acquisition isn't how you sustain long-term businesses. And people make that mistake. Getting customers is necessary. Keeping customers is how you sustain long-term business, repeat business. So how do you do that? Through the customer experience. So what's the customer experience? It's not just giving them a product. It's giving them a memory. It's giving them a good experience. They want to say when they came to you, not only did they get what they want, they love the way they were treated. They love the atmosphere. They love the process. It was easy. It wasn't tedious. They got what they needed quickly. Anytime there was an issue, you responded to it expeditiously. They got their issues straightened out and corrected within a reasonable time. Some of the best customers and the most loyal customers you're going to get are customers who initially have problems that you solve in a way that impresses them. There's no perfect service. There's nobody that's out there and doing everything right. How you respond to people when they complain is going to have a massive impact on your business. But here, okay, so here you go. You got what? Finding a problem, determining how you are equipped to solve that problem, solving it at the highest level possible in quality and experience. The third thing, do it in a way that's unique to your personality, unique to your gifting, and creates a unique experience. Why? The more closer it is to being a part of you, the less other people can emulate it and reproduce it, and it keeps you from being submerged with saturation in an environment that you basically pretty much created. So that's how it normally would work. Before we got to industry, industrialization, and all of that, the world was full of people who were just good at what they did, and there were small towns. So you normally had one blacksmith, one cropper, one, and so everybody was gifted in what they did, and everybody partook and shared and worked with one another. Well, now you live in a world where everybody can copy. So everybody sees something hot, they jump on it and copy. So you don't want to be as easily copied as possible. You want to have it, and you've got to recognize how you move in the industry. But what I did was I decided that I was going to take my skill set, and I was going to find a specific part of me that was gifted, and I was going to find a specific problem. And what I found initially, and the easiest thing to get into at that time, was content creation, copywriting. So I wrote copy. I have a client, well, I haven't did anything for him in a while, but I had a client that was very important to me at that time. First Choice Lighting in the UK. They brought me on to write all of their product descriptions. If you go to their website, First Choice Lighting, they are custom lighting and lamps and every kind of fixture you can think of, contemporary, traditional, everything. I mean, I did that. So I got a contract. I got a contract from a furniture company in Sydney, Australia. And so I was able to do that. Then I did a lot of one-off writing for different website owners. I did written content and articles. I did product reviews. I did those things because that was going to be the revenue I used to regenerate and recreate. And obviously, as I moved on, it played out because it didn't pay as much as I needed to move to the next level, but it opened doors. It gave me access to things. I learned how things were going. I had to take courses and learn SEO, how to optimize site for organic searches. I had to learn that. I had to learn presentation. I had to learn wording. I had to learn the difference between writing copy and writing an article. Two totally different things. I teach that in another course. But the bottom line is I found a way in, and I had the vehicle was the internet, and social media was the supercharger. In other words, I could do things on the internet through websites and other things, but social media platforms gave so much explosiveness. Even after they changed the algorithms to make businesses have to do buy ads to get full exposure, there's still times organically I hit nice little sweet home runs with the right content at the right time, and it's beautiful. But I've used the same model from when I started off as a content writer on little small sites like Hire Writers, Writer Access, Text Broker. Then I graduated to Constant Content, who I still write for because they pay well. You get to set your price. If you're a writer I would suggest, you know, going over the constant content and taking their test. You're going to have to pass a test to write for them because they have a standard of who they want to write for them because they have clients who pay pretty good. But on average, I can write a 600, 700 word article and charge $150 for it, which is well over the 3 to 5 to 7 cents per word. And 3 to 5 to 7 cents is still high in that word where they're playing per word, but 150 doc easy charge 150, and it takes me probably to write a 700 word article, even if I've got to research the content in it, 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops. You can see how you're not going to get rich doing it, but it's definitely going to pay you more than you would get paid at the average job. The other thing I like about constant content is you can literally set up a library. In other words, you don't have to wait for someone to request that you write something. You can literally say, hey, this seems to be a hot topic that people are writing on and selling, and you can just go write it and you put it in your library and it sits there, and people, when they're searching for it, it pops up and they look at your rating from how you've written for other people and they say, well, this guy writes pretty good, let me see what it says, and he read it and then they'll buy it. That's just one one-off thing that I want to share with you if you're a writer. And you can always take courses with OWL, Purdue, and a bunch of other places online that will teach you how to write, grammar, how to use punctuation and all these things so that you can pass the test and get in. And they're going to have an editor that checks everything that comes in. And when you first start writing, you're probably going to get your stuff sent back to you some, because they're going to tell you, what's this? You need to be more clear on that, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, there's a way to make money online in almost anything you can imagine. The thing is, most people don't understand it. Most people don't know it. And everybody's still in that traditional mindset. Somebody has to give me permission to do something. So I need to go out and ask somebody for something. And the problem is, depending on where you are at in your life, people are being told no a lot more. It's getting more and more difficult to find good paying jobs through traditional means because of the way the economy is going and how the job market is changing. There's an ever growing and ever increasing market where people are simply saying, I'm not going to wait on somebody, I'm going to start and I'm going to do it on my own. And yes, it comes with risks, it comes with challenges. That's life. I can't stress that enough, but there is a level of fulfillment when you look up and say, man, look, I'm X amount of years into this and I've done this. Look where I started and look where I'm at. Look where I started and look where I'm at. So what I do every time I start something new, I look at how I'm going to enter the market with as little startup as possible. And a lot of times, because I've just generated a strong idea of where to go to drop my promos, I may start with no startup. I may promote something solely on the people who are already following me, and I'll get started. And then I may start, if I like what I see, I may start using an ad budget or marketing budget, and create a certain time for my in monitoring burn rates and all that stuff over the course of certain time, and all of that. And you need to learn how to invest in your business. The marketing is a huge part of it, not just promoting. Promoting something is just a part of marketing. Marketing is the understanding of what's out there. Marketing includes customer intelligence. What makes your customer buy? Where can you find your customer? What excites your customer? What experiences are your customers looking for? All of that stuff is a part of what we call customer intelligence. It's immensely important to understand that. But all of this stuff can be learned. The thing is, you're never going to be perfect. You're never going to know everything. And there's never going to be perfect timing. The thing is, get into something before you have to get into it. See, I had to get into it. So I had no choice but to be successful, because it was covering the roof over my head, the food in my mouth. And what I'm able to do in front of you now came from me having to get in and make that happen. And all I did was repeat. make minor adjustments and repeat. There's a way you start something. There's a way you move. There's a way you promote. There's a way you follow through. There are different vehicles for different things. So how do you deliver what you're trying to sell to people? Do I have to have a product of my own to get into business? No, you don't. There are plenty of businesses out there will pay you to promote their business. Sometimes some of the things that I'm offering within schemes and things that I do are actually other companies saying, hey, I like what you're doing. Would you mind promoting my thing? And I'll pay you X amount of dollars to do it. I mean, the thing is, you get to experience none of these things if you don't invest and get into the game. And so what I decided to do is like, hey, what can I create that's so stacked with value that people will sit up and say, you know what, I want to give this guy a try. I want to go out here and I want to see what he has to offer. Well, here's the thing. I am offering this $400 package of the 7-day launch, which I made affordable because the people that I wanted to take advantage of it may not be able to afford much more. And it sort of kills, to me, it kills the whole excitement of starting a business with the type of formula I use, which is a low cost entry formula. If I'm charging this X amount of dollars, is it worth it? Yeah, because you can literally earn back what you're going to invest in it at full price the first month. And then every month after that, that's profitability. Very few businesses or traditional businesses are going to offer you to break profit in the first month. Most businesses, you're not going to break profit in the first year. We're talking about a situation that is unique, but you have to work it. You have to invest. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This isn't some magic button you're going to push and just sit back and watch cash roll in. You are going to have to be invested in your success. So what did I decide to do? I said, okay, I'm going to take a $400 course and I'm going to offer it for $97. But I'm not going to stop there because I really want people to win. I'm not just in this to collect, because $97 for what I'm giving and the time I put into it isn't a lot. But there are a lot of things I've gotten going on that I hedge and I balance when I do things like this so that it makes sense to me. Sometimes it don't make sense. Sometimes it's just about people really need to get this and they're not going to get it if I produce it this way. Well, my guy, Chris, who is my marketing guy in the UK, he's starting to really reel me in on that. So we'll see how it goes from here. But I know that there will be some pricing changes and there will be more adherence to those prices. And there'll be other ways that I will bring value to the table. But for right now, not only am I going to give you this $400 package for $97, I'm also going to give you Healing Emotional Trauma, which is a $497 package. Absolutely free. I'm going to give you Overcoming Procrastination, which is a $1,500 course. Absolutely free. If you're dealing with procrastination, you are stuck. You are paralyzed. There's opportunity after opportunity. You know you need to do it. It's on your book. It's on your calendar. It's on your task list. You haven't done it yet. What do? You get up and all the things that really need to get done, they require energy, effort. They require some commitment. And you skip over them and you do the other little bitty tasks that allow you to check things off because it makes you feel like you're accomplishing something. But at the end of the day, the things that would really propel you forward are still sitting there undone. You look up and you got things on your calendar. You said you're going to do 3, 4, 5 months ago. Some of you got things on your calendar that you were supposed to do years ago that you haven't even started yet, that the world is waiting on you. Some of you are supposed to be writing a book. Some of you are supposed to be starting a company. So some of you are supposed to be connecting with other people to do unbelievable things within the community, within society, within the scope of what's going on. Some of you are supposed to be writing plays. Some of you are supposed to be writing movies. Some of you are supposed to be standing up before crowds, inspiring people who have went through things that you have gone through. And now they're watching you as you stand up and you're still sitting there undone. Why? Because you're procrastinating. That's why that course is so powerful. And that's coming for free. The Power of Paradigms course, a $900 course, absolutely free. If you are viewing life through a lens that no longer serves you, you are spinning your wheels. Paradigms are basically the lens through which we see life. Paradigms are the ideas and thoughts and observations that we sit up and we look at life and determine what we can do, how life is going to respond to us, how the world impacts us, how we impact the world, and everything else. It's what determines how we make our decisions. And if you are still operating on an old paradigm or a faulty paradigm, there's a reason why you're not getting things done. That course is a $900 course. I have sold that course online on Udemy. I've sold it on Yes Course and a couple of other places. And now I'm giving it away as a part of this. And this is a $97. So you're going to get the 7-day launch, healing emotional trauma, overcoming procrastination, the power of paradigms, and you are going to get free admission into tomorrow's course of crushing limiting beliefs. During tomorrow's course of crushing limiting beliefs, I'm going to actually give away. I'm going to take everybody's name who's enrolled, whether they're there or not, put it in a bag, and I'm going to pull a name out, and I'm going to give them my flagship course, which is the Platinum Coaching or Counseling Package. That's 52 sessions over 52 weeks, and it is highly detailed in process. We're going to look at the vision. We're going to look at the goal. We're going to look at where you're at. We're going to assess your personality. We're going to do a DISC assessment. We're going to determine and assess where your goals are, where you're at, how we're going to get there. We're going to do a specific plan. And then I'm going to walk it out with you weekly until we get there. And I'm giving one of those away. So all of this for $97. And it's only until the end of the day because I want people in that course tomorrow. And so again, here is an opportunity to change your life. And I'm going to go back to the question in the title. Is it as easy to start a business as everybody says it is? No. Is it easy to achieve success in business, short-term and long-term? No. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it rewarding? Most definitely. Is it liberating? That's the thing. There's nothing like the freedom of waking up and knowing that the energy and effort you put into something is you. It's yours. It's what you believe in. You're doing something you love and you believe in, and you're getting the same results or better than when you are doing something you don't believe in, or you don't like, or you even hate. 85% of Americans wake up every day and go to a job they don't like. Slowly committing spiritual suicide. Slowly giving up a piece of themselves because they're showing up and literally having something taken. The anxiety levels, the stress levels, that means adrenaline and cortisol levels are high and constant. The body isn't responding to that well at all. It's attacking the organs, the autoimmune system, and so much more, because people have been conditioned to believe this is my lot in life. This is what I've got to do. Yes, you got to go to work because you got to pay bills, but you don't have to be stuck at that place. You should have a plan. When you leave work, your plan working on how you're going to escape that should be more energetic, more invested than the time you spend there. You should never be working harder for someone else than you're working for yourself to become the primary source. And it should never be fixed and focused on one thing. That's why I'm so diverse. Why? Because things happen. Industries shift. Economic situations change. But when you diversify, it's just like investing. When you diversify, the chance of everything you have going on all collapsing simultaneously is highly unlikely. So you're hedging your success on things that you can do while you focus primarily on the thing you love. It's a beautiful thing. No, it's not easy. Absolutely not easy. But what I can tell you is this is what I've done in my life. Had some ups and downs. But I can tell you, when I was at my worst as far as business and finance is concerned, I didn't panic. Why? Because I've been there before. Once you teach yourself to do it, it's a cycle. You learn. Learning and understanding markets, learning and understand how to identify problems. If you can identify a problem and find a way to solve the problem, you will always eat. You will always eat. And now you've got social media that literally will help you out. Every time you see somebody post about something going wrong in their life, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, literally is logging it. That's why you type something in your phone or you type something else and you go up, you'll see an ad for it rolling down your timeline. Why? Because Facebook is logging what you like, what's important to you, all these things. And it's happening everywhere. Anywhere where you are actually engaging something, whether it's social media, on a website somewhere, that stuff is being collected. It's called customer intelligence. And what's happening? That's the information when you go and start your business and you go to Facebook and say, I want to start an ad and I want to do this. And this is the people I'm targeting. People who like this, people who do this, people who this is important to, people who are buying a home, people who are selling a home, people who are moving, people, whatever. You get to pick specifically the artist you want. And the more specific you are, the less competition you're going to have in that arena. And guess what? Your ad's going to flow right down that page. And if they've just been talking about it, it pops up, they go, wow. And then they sit up and here we go. It's understanding how things work. I have said this so many times. We fall short and we end up in last place because we refuse to understand how things work. We have a situation in the market going on right now. The value of the dollar is falling. One thing that I've been telling everybody, no matter what you are, no matter where you're at, do not exchange appreciating assets for a depreciating dollar. Don't start cashing out and selling stuff. Be careful. Be aware of what's going on. Things that have the power to appreciate will normally recover. Things that definitely will sustain itself in time are the very things that are, for most times, the underwriters of currency. Precious metals. Precious metals are always solid. Silver and gold. Get you some. Now, I can go all off into that, and that's a whole nother thing. People have been convinced that money is what makes you wealthy. Money is simply a promissory note. It's currency. If you study the history of currency, that's it. Money and currency are different. Money is actually what's the value. Now, currency, which we now call cash, was actually initially a promissory note of someone who was storing people's gold and giving them promissory notes for the weight of the gold he was storing. And then they started exchanging those notes instead of actually going and getting the gold. They were exchanging those notes and just signing them off. And then people would come and collect the gold or leave it in and put it under their name. And that's the cash system. But the cash doesn't have the value. It's what's underwrites the cash. The problem is with the US dollar is it hasn't been underwritten by cash. I mean, by anything of value. It was under the gold standard until Nixon did that. And then there are a bunch of other things that goes back. I'm not going to get into it. But I mean, if you go to the Financial Brain Trust, you'll see a bunch of things I've written about for a long time on that. But what I'm saying is be very careful, because the idea is something's appreciating. You want to get something for it, so you sell it, but you sell it for money. And if you don't have something you're going to immediately do with that money while it's holding the same value that you just exchanged, then it's depreciating. It's not going to have the same value. And we're rapidly approaching a time where people should get real concerned about currency and the value it holds. That money under the mattress ain't going to do you no good in about a year or two, maybe 5 years tops. And I could be very, very conservative with that projection. The money in the bank is not going to do you a whole lot of good if it doesn't have any value. You should have hard assets, real estate, gold, precious gems, long-lasting, hard-surviving stocks, because they're coming back. The S&P is going to be fine when it's all said and done. A lot of your other heavy performers are going to be outside. Anything in tech is going to have some longevity, because tech is what's going to push us forward. Anything in the medical industry is going to have longevity. You need to do your research and understand that. I know this is a little bit off of what we were talking about, but I'm trying to give you something here. Your net worth is what gives you value, not how much cash you have in the bank. One of the best ways to build net worth, one of the most solid and long lasting, is acquisition and holding on to real estate. It's a tried and proven method. Uh, Another solid way is build strong businesses. Your business minus its debts, minus whatever expenses, is a part of your net worth. You get a business that's producing 2 or 300,000 a year. You multiply that times 5. That's a 1.5, anywhere from 1.3 to 1.5 million dollar valuation on the business, because you normally multiply annual revenue, repetitive annual revenue times 5 to get a valuation. And that's a real simple method. There are a lot of other things that go into it that include the market, but that's 1.5. That's a 1.5 valuation on a company that you've created yourself, that you've taken time to build, that has longevity because you've scaled properly and you look properly and you have an exit strategy. Having an exit strategy is one of the most important things you can have in a business. And that's some of the things that I'll teach. But there's a long game. And if you don't know how to play the long game, you're probably going to lose. On that note, look, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Again, the link is in the description box. Click that link. Go out there. $97 for all of what I just set up and said. Plus, you're going to get to attend tomorrow's Crushing Limiting Beliefs event and get so much more. So again, I would suggest taking advantage of this. I'm definitely probably not going to be doing, I'm not going to say what I'm not going to do, but I know that we're definitely changing the way we're approaching a lot of the things that I've been doing. But here's an opportunity. So on that note, take advantage of it. I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day.